You know why we're here, let's just do it. I'm not ranking these based on set guidelines or aspects, really just which stand out to me. The more cohesive levels will be higher than the others. They all have good qualities, just some have worse ones than others. I'm also not gonna mention the music because all of these songs slap unless it really adds something special. We'd better get going with the list because it's been 30 minutes and I need to find out where the pizza delivery guy is with my food so I can take my food, laugh in his face, and run away at Mach 12. Oh yeah, leave a like and subscribe if you want. It just, makes YouTube more interested in my video, so go ahead and do that, please. So, I'll be quite honest. There's not a level I hate or loathe or anything like that in this game, but there are a few that don't jive as well as the other cast members out of the lot, and Pebby-Bot Factory is the best example of that. The first section doesn't feel very intuitive in comparison to the levels the player would have beaten up to this point, and not that it's painstakingly difficult or anything, but it really just is meh. The second half is a bit better with the pizza box transformation being the highlight, but the conveyors with the boosts aren't very fun to get past. This level's a pain in the ass to S or P rank with level design that can be very punishing, where most other levels in the game won't give you such restrictions because there are ample opportunities to keep up your rank or escape the level. I don't dread this level, but something has to be on the bottom, so I'm gonna put it here.
Oh shit! A ghost!
First of all, I do love the aesthetic of Pizza Scare. A Halloween level is something that fits right into this game's theming without directly being related to pizza or anything. The gimmicks are also not too bad, with the Ghosts and King Ghost bringing a unique dynamic to separate it from what this level is deriving from, which is Pizzascape. With that though, I didn't have the greatest time trying to get everything in this level, especially Jerome, who I couldn't find for an hour and eventually had to cave to look it up. That's my lack of skills showing, but it isn't a pleasant point for me. The structure of this level also is not very fun to run through, often punishing you for assuming to have muscle memory with the previous levels. Regardless, not bad, just not my thing.
The power of Christ compels you!
Because you too fits where the glue fits.
With the greasy look that comes with this game, a sewer-related level is a nice choice. The more that I think about it, it seems that every level's theme is something that I enjoy, and it's true with this level with the Ninja Turtle pizza slices and the trash can lid gimmick. I will say that the cheese transformation feels like there could have been more to it, but it isn't outright bad in its implementation. The aspect that brings this level down is the length of it. There's a reason why speedrunners avoid this level to obtain the best time. It takes forever to finish and even longer to P rank. In some places it feels like it wasn't even tested for that. Still a good level, just kind of fiendish when it comes to the design.
Shut the fuck up!
In some shape or form, I feel sort of bad for putting this so far down on the list, but I can't really help it considering the competition. A Five Nights at Freddy's inspired level is just what this game needed, honestly. All of the animatronic pizza toppings and jump scares are a welcome addition, and add a good chunk of ambience. Obviously I don't need to say this because obvious, but the best part of the level is easily when you get the shotgun and whoop some FNAF ass, which makes me think the dude from those games should have just been packing after night 1. I like the shotgun used in War more, but it's nice here. So, why is it this low? Well, it really just has the endgame gimmick feel to it and doesn't really suffer that much from it, but I really just don't enjoy replaying this level because of that. The sticky cheese, the enemies that trigger the animatronics, and some of the level's design are not very fun to run through, so it falls a bit short of going higher on the list.
Ya basta, freezer!
Refrigerator, freezerator, that's a tongue twister I'm not in the mood to try for myself, has a distinct problem in my eyes. The P rank put it down just a bit. Just a teeny little bit. It's fun on a first run and even an S rank run, even with a somewhat odd level design at times. Especially the beginning once you've learned the layout, which feels like the longest you can just maintain a run other than probably the last level. The pepper gimmick is very enjoyable to run through enemies with, and losing it for Lab 2 is a nice touch. But this one room in the level with that in mind kind of creases me. So during the escape, you can break through these blocks with the pepper being time efficient, right? Well, on lap 2, I'm assuming they want you to go through them again as well by super jumping. but because of some brain rot I've gained over the years, I just could not do it or want to when I'd get to the room with a P rank in tow. My brain tells me to go to the left instead, but every time I would do it, I would fail. I know this is the most nitpicky thing to point out possibly in existence, but it really did hurt the placement of this level. Otherwise, pretty enjoyable, just the other levels do what they're trying to do a little better.
Legends of the Hidden Temple.
I don't think there's much really wrong with Ancient Cheese other than the bombs being hard to manage at times, but it really is just the most forgettable level in the game to me. Like, I remember Pepibot Factory for being bad, but I don't remember this level being in the game half the time, and I should, considering it's in the first world. Other than the bombs, this level doesn't really have any other standout unique gimmicks. The escape sequence can be annoying with the cheese platforms, and this one particular room confuses the hell out of me almost every time, because it makes me think I need to go all the way around the room when I don't. You need standard levels in a game to balance out all the goofy shenanigans that go on in every other level, but if every other level has the goofy shenanigans, what's left here?
Hey, X, draw!
Fast Food Saloon was a great level on my first run, appreciating things like the hot dog mount or cards and beer cans that give you points to your total, and striking the Western theme right where it works best. But after multiple runs, I enjoy it a little less. The airlifts are a unique touch but get grating to maneuver for a P rank, especially in the escape. I've had a few P rank runs lost to this specific section because the wind carries me right into the bullet and my brain doesn't have enough time to recover. Yeah, it's my fault, but when a game or specific level conditions me to believe that I'm mostly safe from any portion as long as I'm running fast, I'm going to assume that for most of the level. Still, a good level and fun to run through if I'm feeling something different.
Thank you. Now watch this drive.
Compared to my thoughts previously, golf has been put up a good chunk. It really is the gimmick that puts a bad taste in my mouth the first time I played through this level. Managing the golf ball felt like it wasn't as fast paced as the rest of the game, which in some parts it isn't, but that's just me not giving it much of a chance. Some of this level feels automated, but what doesn't makes it stand out. After P-ranking this level, I can really appreciate the thought process that went into making where the hoops are in every course that signifies speed over much of anything else, and that's mostly what this game is about. While this level is quite long, once you master the golf ball tricks, it doesn't feel as long as it did. The escape is pretty good, if still a bit automated at times, which I suppose could be a plus for some because it makes it more anxiety-inducing for whenever you finally take control again, but regardless, still a great level.
Pepino.
Can I get a glass of water?
That's a spicy meatball.
I like what Oregano Desert gives to you as the first level of World 2. It's got a few gimmicks like the cows, the flame breath transformation, and the thunder clouds you need to watch out for. The escape sequence for this level is really fun to run through on lap 2 since it's just a mad dash with a little over minute past every other gimmick given to you. The one thing I wish this level had was a longer second section, specifically the UFO where Pillar John is. I know there's a good amount of overlap with Deep Dish 9 with the olives and the general aesthetic, but it feels like some parts go to waste, like the music only being heard for around 40 seconds even on your first run through. Maybe that's just me enjoying these parts a lot to where I want to see more of them, aside from the cows. They could just fuck off. Gnome Forest is the one that I feel the most mixed on, so let's start with the positives first. The level's theming is done very well, obviously. It's fun to play in most aspects, and the introduction of Gustavo and Brick is nice, and this level does a great job at showing what you can do with them as well as showing you what you cannot do. Speaking of cannot, I cannot P-rank this level without my hair falling out. I'm not sure if it's just me, but this level is tough when you go for the P-rank. More than other levels in the same world, or really, onwards from that. I could not be saying the same thing if Pepino were the only one you played in this level, but that doesn't change how difficult keeping a P rank is in certain sections of this level. The first room gives me nightmares now because I failed a P rank at the end of lap 2 because the secret is right at the beginning of the level but can't be accessed until you start pizza time. And if you kill all the enemies in the room on your first lap, only one will spawn in the room, so you have to be quick about getting to the secret. Or you can leave an enemy so you can kill it on the way back, but I shouldn't really have to do this, right? I've never done that on any other level, so that's a premier example of why this level is sometimes bullshit. But that doesn't make it irredeemable or like Pepibot Factory. Crust Cove is really just like your straightforward level to every other one in the game, in my opinion. It has its gimmicks like the barrel and the cannon goblins, but in general it feels like it fits right into the middle of this list. The music feels straight out of Jet Set Radio, a beach level is something that you can really never go wrong with, and the escape is fun, but the others above it have a more dynamic or iconic feel to them. I feel about the same way for the barrel transformation specifically as well. Most transformations either have you put in the transformation instantaneously as soon as you touch whatever you need to transform, or press a button to activate said transformation. The barrel definitely tripped me up the first few times given that I simply just didn't jump into it. I know, I'm not that intuitive. But once I learned that, it's nice to master. The Goblin Captain is a nice change for being aware of the situation and watching out for cannonballs where you'd normally run straight through the majority of the level, and adds an extra level to the escape which I mentioned was fun before. All in all, a good middle ground, and looking at most other games, the fact that this is in the middle of the ranking and it's this good speaks volumes. Pete's Escape feels like it should be the first level in the game, and I know you could play it first, but that doesn't mean 99% of people are going to ignore John Gutter and go straight to this level instead. What I mean is that this is basically the 1-1 Mario Brothers of Pizza Tower. Yeah, John Gutter is easier, but Pete's Escape is what I associate with this game the most, even if it's not as high on the ranking as others. In terms of the level itself, it's nice to run through. The night transformation is alright, not my favorite in the game, but it's not bad either. Some other gimmicks are introduced here, such as the ball transformation when kicked by certain enemies, so in later levels you can expect how it will control. The escape is pretty fun to go through. Even being the oldest level throughout this game's development, I think, it's still great to play.
New zombie.
Some levels fluctuate in how I feel about them, and honestly, Wasteyard may move down in time, but this level is pretty fun. The Ghost transformation is fun to master. The escape with the John Ghost is unique, and while hard to actually get caught by, it adds a new layer of stress, and is one of my favorites to just run through after finishing an annoying P rank. The dead bodies in Small Pillar Johns add quite the ambience to an already strong theme. I actually don't have much else to say about this level other than it's great and my second favorite of the second world.
There can be no hope in this hell.
I've changed my mind about Blood Sauce Dungeon after thinking about it. I had this a good bit lower on the list when making it, as the vertical level design didn't jive with me in the beginning, but after running through it multiple times, I really enjoy it. You have to master where everything is placed in this level to get a P rank. Cutting around each turn while going down the dungeon and jumping up the corners while ascending is something that gets better the more you tinker with it. The third secret in this level always messes with my head because I have to shift gears to be slow and steady to avoid the blades, which almost never happens because my patience is about the size of a walnut, but I digress. When I first started going for P ranks, this level was the one that gave me the most trouble in World 1, but since then I've got the patterns down and ended up liking it a lot.
You don't have to be lonely.
Fun Farm is fun, that's about it. It's definitely quaint in the first half and doesn't entirely lose that factor throughout, but that's not a bad thing. This level is just a blast to run through. P ranking this level isn't bad or anything, but I found myself really enjoying trying to get the best score in this level compared to almost all of the other levels in this game. Worth the Chicken is a welcome cameo to the best game ever to be released and works as a great gimmick for this level, and all of the sections of this level are a blast, except for this one part that always gets me every time. I'm just never gonna not hit this.
What the hell? Oh my god, no way!
Inevitable.
Where I think World 4 trips and falls, this level definitely makes up for it. The level is full of character, with the taxi cutscenes and bringing Gustavo and Brick back for their second level, going into a grandma's house and breaking the pillar that keeps this city intact and leaving the scene of the crime, and the whole city is burning down, and you are at fault for this, but you've got to go because you need to pay your debts. My favorite thing about this level is that it feels like there's no downtime. You're constantly moving, and not in the same way as every other level. There's just some garnish on top of the already great level structure to add flavor and make it stand out. Not that it really needed it against the competition in World 4, but hey, doesn't remove the best parts of it.
Boo! You stink!
I don't think you have any idea how fast I really am.
I'm aware the content of this level is lacking, considering this is just an escape with no secrets or top-ins or what have you, but it really doesn't need it. The best part of this game to me is the pizza time escape sequences, so to have an extended level of that after you've just pile-drived a fucking pizza man from the sky is just icing on the pizza. Ew, wait, that's disgusting. I changed my mind. Every level is represented through the descent of the tower, almost in complete order of the levels. The icing on the icing of the pizza is every character running with you just to make it out alive, considering they don't want to fight a human rocket going at about Mach 13, so they'll just let bygones be bygones for the time being. Except for Snotty, who died on my playthrough because he's stupid and deserved it for being in my way when my livelihood is at stake.
Every day I wake up and I hope you're dead. Dead like...
If you want to get the blood pumping, this is the level for you. Throwing away the normal conventions and starting with a shotgun is already crazy enough.
And everybody's dead.
But once you realize that you break computers for time and that it doesn't stop in the secret rooms, it's pure insanity. I will say there is no feeling that Rival's attempting a P rank in this level for this game, especially when you get to the second lap. The music really amps up the level's energy by moving the funky and greasy sounding tunes to the side and just introducing synthwave, which pairs extremely well with the adrenaline rush you get when playing this level. It really is tough the first go around, but that's to be expected when it's the level most are playing last in order. That in mind, with the music already being mentioned, every relation to pizza the past levels had has virtually been ripped clean, and while usually in a game that has a certain theming I would not appreciate this, it seems like that the straight out of left field last traditional level in the game is what they were going for, and honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. Okay, I genuinely shouldn't have this level so high since it's relatively lacking in level variety and doesn't have a strong theme like every other level in the game, doesn't really have any gimmicks and all that, but it makes up for it in the fun that I have P ranking this level. I can P rank most of the other levels as long as I know where the secrets are, but there's something about this level that makes it the most fun to speedrun compared to most others. Maybe it's the raw simplicity, maybe it's the fact that there's no gimmick that's centralized, or maybe it's for the monkey, I don't know. It might be the easiest level in the game, and in comparison to War, it makes it seem like a frolic through a flower field, but something that's relatively simple to complete isn't inherently bad, is it? It was close to being number one, but there's one level I enjoyed just a smidge more.
I'm escaping to the one place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism.
At the top, we've got a level that doesn't slow down at all, shows a very different level theme, a rocket gimmick that stays around for other levels, banging music as always, and the transitions to differing parts of the level from Pig City but better are a welcome addition. I do enjoy running through John Gutter more as just something fast to finish, but Deep Dish 9 works best as a complete level, secrets and all. I know certain people don't like the location of Jerome in this level, but I'd say I don't agree since you see the door through the beginning of the level, so you know how to get there on your way back. The level is also a bit on the short side, but seeing as how high this and John Gutter ranked, I don't think the length of the level really matters to me. The only thing, if I were to be nitpicky, that I didn't enjoy was the swapping face block you have to touch in order to progress in this certain section. It was a lot like the barrel from Crust Cove, but once I got the hang of it, it wasn't much of a problem. My favorite part of this level is while it takes place in 3 different locations, it's probably the most cohesive structure-wise. There's a secret in every area, the rocket gimmick is present in every area, and while the escape is only a majority of one section, it's still good to go for a second lap every time. Even though it's almost smack dab in the middle of the game, that just shows that the game doesn't even slow down in its content throughout. Hey, thanks for watching the list. If it seemed like a nice pepperoni pizza, make sure to drop a like or subscribe if you enjoyed and all that jazz. If you want more Pizza Tower content, I'm happy to oblige. I put a lot more time into this game than I anticipated, so yeah, I'm all ears. With that said, I'll see you next video.